You wake up, you put the kettle on, a warm mug of comfort to start the day. You assume that when the ingredient list simply says black tea, that is all you are drinking. But you are wrong. The contamination levels in these bags have reached such a saturation point that for many drinkers, the flavour profile has shifted from organic to medicinal.
That's absolutely rank. It's like the worst cough medicine ever.
Here at Brit Food Watch, we have uncovered the specific UK brands hiding the darkest secrets. That bag, currently bobbing in your hot water, is not just releasing flavour. It is leaching billions of invisible microplastics, traces of industrial herbicide, and heavy metals directly into your bloodstream. We are about to expose the 7 worst offenders. Do not skip a second, because number 1 is a brand found in almost every British home, a brand that has been legally accused of hiding weedkiller in its so-called 100% natural leaves. Put down the mug. This is what they are really feeding you. The marketing team calls it 100% pure. The court documents called it a deception laced with weedkiller. Twinings is the architect of a very specific British fantasy, the royal warrant, the heritage packaging, the promise of refined elegance. You buy this box because you believe it is a cut above the budget red label bags. But beneath that carefully curated image of aristocratic quality lies a dirty secret that led straight to a courtroom. In 2019, the facade cracked. The Organic Consumers Association filed a class action lawsuit against Twinings North America, alleging that the brand had fundamentally deceived the public. While the marketing team was printing 100% natural on the boxes, independent testing revealed that the tea leaves were laced with synthetic agents. The most alarming discovery was glyphosate. Glyphosate is the active ingredient in industrial weed killers used to scorch weeds from motorway pavements and railway lines. It is a probable carcinogen, and it was found in the very leaves you steep in boiling water every morning. But it was not just weed killer. The tests flagged residues of bifenthrin and thiacloprid, potent insecticides designed to attack the nervous systems of pests. When you pour boiling water over these leaves, you are not just extracting tea flavour. You are performing a chemical extraction, drawing these toxins out of the leaf tissue and directly into your mug. The sheer volume of potential contaminants is staggering. Independent investigations have flagged over 30 different pesticide residues in various tea samples, with some exceeding EU safety limits. There have even been reports of DDT, a pesticide banned decades ago for its devastating environmental toxicity, lingering in samples from regions with lax agricultural enforcement. This is the ultimate purity paradox. Twinings charges you a premium price for a product that is chemically compromised. You are not drinking the result of natural sunlight and rain. You are drinking the runoff of industrial plantations. They sell you British excellence, but they serve you a diluted cocktail of agrotoxins. If you thought paying extra bought you safety, check the label again. Natural is a marketing term, not a scientific one. And in this case, it is a lie. California state regulators demand a cancer warning on this box. British supermarkets, however, sell it to you without a whisper. Brook Bond Red Label markets itself as a robust, no-nonsense, strong Assam blend. It is an affordable choice for millions who want a tea with a kick. But that strength masks a hazardous heavy metal profile that has triggered one of the strictest health warnings on the planet. The evidence is stamped on the product listings themselves in the United States, a California Proposition 65 warning. This is not a label applied lightly. It is a legal necessity for products containing chemicals known to cause cancer, birth defects, or severe reproductive harm. The specific agents flagged in relation to this brand and its packaging are lead and bisphenol A, spelled BPA. This is not a matter of a stray leaf. This is about systemic contamination. Lead finds its way into the tea through the soil, often in regions heavily polluted by coal-fired power plants or industrial runoff. The tea bush is a hyperabsorbent plant. It drinks up environmental toxins. When you steep these leaves, you are not just brewing a beverage, you are creating a hot infusion of heavy metals. Lead is a neurotoxin that bioaccumulates. It does not simply leave your system, it builds up, damaging the brain and nervous system over time. Then there is the BPA, a chemical villain found in industrial linings and packaging. It acts as an endocrine disruptor, mimicking hormones and wreaking havoc on the body's reproductive systems. While you worry about sugar or calories, this invisible chemical is leaching into the very product you trust. The betrayal is total. You tolerate the bitterness of Red Label, a result of its low pH and aggressive processing, believing it signifies a strong brew. You think you are drinking a hearty, working-class staple. In reality, that bite on your tongue may be the only warning you get. While United States laws force the manufacturer to admit the danger, the UK market remains silent. You are effectively playing Russian roulette with your long-term health, buying a budget tea that extracts a heavy price from your body. If the water company pumped this much fluoride into your home, they would be shut down. Why do you let Lipton put it in your mug? Lipton Yellow Label is the world's best-selling tea brand. It is also a masterclass in agricultural scavenging. While premium tea brands harvest the flush, the delicate young top leaves of the plant, Lipton's business model relies on mass volume and rock-bottom costs. To achieve that, forensic analysis suggests they utilize the older, tougher leaves that grow lower down the bush. This is not just a matter of taste, it is a matter of toxicology. The tea plant is a hyper-accumulator. It acts like a sponge, sucking up fluoride from the soil. The longer the leaf stays on the bush, the more fluoride it stores. By harvesting these geriatric, hardened leaves, Lipton is essentially selling you a fluoride delivery system. Independent studies have shocked the industry by revealing that budget tea bags can release between 3.6 and 7.9 milligrams per litre of fluoride. To put that into perspective, the World Health Organization sets the upper safety limit for drinking water at just 1.5 milligrams. You are brewing a cup that is potentially 5 times more toxic than what is legally permitted in your tap water. This is not about cavity protection. Chronic ingestion of fluoride at these levels is linked to a terrifying condition called skeletal fluorosis. This is a progressive disease where your bones essentially turn against you, ligaments calcify, vertebrae fuse, and joints stiffen into painful, immovable hinges. You might think you are developing arthritis. In reality, you could be slowly poisoning your own skeleton with cheap tea. The assault continues with the physical quality of the blend. Lipton relies heavily on dust and fannings, microscopic particles that release tannins aggressively. This creates that notoriously bitter, astringent, battery acid flavour that demands milk and sugar just to be palatable. They rely on your ignorance of leaf age. They sell you the toxic, fluoride-saturated waste that premium brands reject, banking on the fact that you will never check the chemical load of your morning brew. Broken drains, leaking cesspits, and a slurry of industrial dust masked by perfume. Millions of Britons start their morning with the familiar blue box, trusting it as a pillar of national tradition. You boil the kettle, expecting a wholesome, natural brew to start the day. The comfort of that daily ritual rests on a foundation of industrial deception. Tetley's own data admits the addition of natural flavourings in their blends. Ask yourself, why tea, a plant revered for centuries for its distinct taste, needs added flavouring? The answer is as simple as it is disgusting. They are not selling you premium leaves. They are selling you fannings and dust. These are the lowest grade residues of tea processing, effectively the sweepings from the factory floor after the quality leaves have been siphoned off for luxury markets. Without chemical intervention, this dust would taste like exactly what it is: stale, woody waste. To fool your palate, the industry sprays these dregs with extracted compounds to mimic the profile of fresh tea. You are not drinking a brew, you are drinking perfumed refuse. The deception goes deeper than just poor quality. It extends into a supply chain riddled with squalor. A scathing BBC investigation in 2015 peeled back the curtain on the Assam estates supplying Tetley, exposing conditions that would turn your stomach. Investigators found estates plagued by broken drains and leaking cesspits, creating a hygiene nightmare right at the source of production. The tea you steep for 3 minutes has been linked to environments where basic sanitation has collapsed. Furthermore, the drive for mass production at rock-bottom prices creates a reliance on heavy agrochemicals. These estates are often drenched in pesticides to force yield from exhausted soil. When you pour boiling water over that bag, you are effectively creating a solvent extract of every chemical sprayed on those crops. It turns your everyday essential into a diluted cocktail of potential toxins and agricultural runoff. The industry relies on you not asking questions. They rely on the natural claim on the box to silence your suspicion. But the evidence suggests a different reality. It is a product composed of waste material, chemically mocked up to taste fresh, sourced from estates flagged for horrific hygiene. Number 5. PG Tips Classic Tea. 0.2 grams. That is the precise weight of the theft found in every tea bag. PG Tips has pulled off one of the greatest vanishing acts in British supermarket history. For years, they marketed the pyramid bag as a breakthrough in brewing technology, claiming the shape gave the tea leaves more room to move. That was the marketing lie. The forensic reality is that the pyramid shape was a perfect spatial illusion, designed to hide a massive reduction in product. In 2015, a Guardian investigation exposed that the weight of a PG Tips bag had quietly dropped from 3.1 grams to 2.9 grams. That might sound small, but do the math. Over millions of boxes, that is tons of tea saved by the manufacturer, while you kept paying the same price. They sold you air and called it innovation. The theft has not stopped. Just this year, in 2024, Consumer Watchdog, which flagged another brutal instance of shrinkflation. The standard box count was slashed from 180 bags down to 140, a staggering 22% reduction in volume. Did the price drop? No. At major retailers like Ocado, the price actually rose. You are now paying record prices for a box that is mostly cardboard and fresh air. But it is not just the quantity that is shrinking, it is the quality. Inside those innovative pyramid bags, you will not find whole leaves. You will find fannings and dust. These are the industrial leftovers, the sweepings from the factory floor that brew fast and bitter. Because this dust lacks real flavour, it creates a weak, insipid brew that forces you to squeeze the bag just to get some colour. Where does this dust come from? Supply chain investigations have traced Unilever's tea sources to estates in India with a history of heavy chemical reliance. Traces of endosulfan, a pesticide so toxic it is banned across the entire European Union, have been detected in these supply chains. It is a persistent organic pollutant that does not break down, it accumulates. PG Tips relies on the nostalgia of the chimpanzee adverts and the monkey mascot to keep you loyal. Do not let the nostalgia fool you. They are serving you prohibited pesticides in a bag that gets lighter every year. It is a proper cuppa only in name. In reality, it is a proper RIP off. Number 6. Clipper Organic Everyday Tea. Decades of ethical branding were dismantled in a single season of silent cost-cutting. Clipper built its entire reputation on being the good guys of the aisle. Unbleached bags, organic credentials, ethical sourcing. You buy this because you want to avoid the chemical sludge found in the big industrial brands. But in 2024, a wave of furious consumer reports exposed a silent reformulation that has turned this ethical choice into a ship of Theseus scam. The scam is simple but devastating. Keep the external branding exactly the same while gutting the internal quality. Loyalists who have drunk this tea for a decade are now reporting that the brew has become insipid, weak, and dishwater dull. This is not just a bad batch, it is a pattern consistent with a blend downgrade. To To protect profit margins against rising costs, forensic analysis of the flavour profile suggests Clipper may have swapped out robust, high-altitude organic leaves for cheaper, low-altitude organic dust. It is technically still organic, so they do not have to change the label. But the essential oils and complex tannins are gone. You are left with a ghost of the original product, forcing you to use 2 bags just to get the strength of 1. That is a hidden 100% price hike levied directly on your loyalty. But the betrayal goes deeper than just flavour. For a brand that screams natural, the chemical reality is unsettling. Product listings for Clipper have been flagged with California Proposition 65 warnings. This is a severe regulatory alert used when a product contains chemicals known to cause cancer or reproductive harm, in this case, lead. While lead can occur naturally in soil, its presence in a brand marketed as the pinnacle of purity is a shock to the system. You are paying a premium for a clean conscience and a natural taste. Instead, you are getting a diluted product that is legally required to carry a heavy metal warning in other jurisdictions. The ethical choice has become the empty choice. Number 7. Yorkshire tea. 11.6 billion microplastics. That is the invisible payload released into your mug by this single biodegradable bag. For years, this brand has traded on an identity of no-nonsense northern quality. But recently, loyal drinkers have noticed a disturbing shift. The tea tastes weaker. The brew lacks its former punch. Why? Because the proper blend is increasingly reliant on the industry's dirty secret: dust. Like the cheapest competitors, these bags are filled with the broken, pulverized remnants of leaves that extract flavor violently and quickly. If you oversteep it by even a minute, or commit the sin of squeezing the bag, you are not releasing flavor, you are wringing out bitter, astringent tannins from low-grade particulates. But the real scandal is not the leaf, it is the cage that holds it. Yorkshire Tea proudly announced a switch to biodegradable bags to save the planet. They replaced oil-based seals with polylactic acid, PLA. They want you to believe this is plastic-free. That is a dangerous half-truth. PLA is a bioplastic. While it is derived from plants, it is chemically engineered to function exactly like a polymer. Here is the purity paradox. They rely on you misunderstanding. PLA does not decompose in nature. If you throw these bags on your garden compost heap, they will not rot. They require high-heat industrial composting facilities to break down, facilities that most local councils do not even have access to. When you toss that bag into your garden, you are effectively seeding your soil with a bioplastic sludge that persists for years. The implication for your health is even more immediate. When you pour boiling water over a Yorkshire tea bag, you are subjecting this PLA mesh to extreme heat. You are brewing your morning cup through a bioplastic filter. While the brand hides behind the technicality of plant-based materials, the visceral reality is that you are consuming a beverage filtered through a laboratory-created polymer. It is a complete betrayal of the eco-conscious consumer. You buy it thinking you are saving the earth. In reality, you are drinking a chemistry experiment and polluting your own back garden with waste that refuses to die. The proper brew has become a proper fraud. The forensic evidence is clear. The brands you invited into your home have betrayed you. They rely on the fact that you simply grab the same box every week out of habit. They bank on your apathy. They assume you will never check the label, never read the lab reports, and never question why a premium product is getting cheaper to produce but more expensive to buy. But now you know. Did you know about the hidden plastics in Yorkshire tea before today? Were you aware that your pure Twinings was washed in industrial weed killer? And the most important question, will you ever buy these brands again, or are you switching to loose leaf today? Tell us in the comments. We want to hear your verdict. If you want to survive the supermarket aisle without being misled, you need to stay informed. We are Brit Food Watch. We expose the secrets the industry tries to bury. Subscribe for the truth. Stay vigilant.